Hello YouTube, it's Donald. It is December the 14th, 2022, and this is the squirrel I've decided I'm going to try to draw and give you an idea how I do things. Uh, Again, I'm self-taught, so if you're looking for technical uh, advice or things like that, I'm not the person to follow, but uh, this is what I've taught myself over the years. And what I got you on, I'm gonna hang you off of a board off the top of my little shelf here, and some string, so you might swing a little bit, but it will stop here in a little bit shortly. Let's see if you're in frame. Yeah, okay. All right, the swinging will stop. I promise. All right. First off, I'm gonna get him a place to sit, and that'll be this fence where he's sitting on. And what I done here, I just going to figure out where the line I want to do, about the same angle. It don't have to be perfect. This is your world. You can make mistakes and not tell anybody, and they'll never know the difference. Okay, we got us a line, dark enough line there. I'm using a darker pen. Usually I'll draw with a mechanical pencil, but it wasn't showing up on the camera or on my phone, so we'll go from here. I'm going to start off with his front paw, I believe, and see how that works. Let's put him right about here. Yeah, what I'm doing is just looking for angles. This is just the angle of his front paw, the back part of his leg here, just to give me something to go off of. You can see it's probably not perfect when you lay it down, but it don't have to be. If you want perfect, get you a Xerox copier. But if you just want to have fun and see if you can do it yourself, this is the way I do it. And then I go from there and I'll figure out, okay, well, how thick is his leg? Where is his other part of his front leg? And I'll go over and I'll determine. See, it gets thicker up here than it does down here, so it needs to be probably about right in there. And if it's wrong, we can always erase it and do it again. And then his front toes, let's say like that. And let's go with his first little knuckle. Goes up at an angle and then back down, and it just touches the top of the wood. And he's got like a little claw right there, so we'll darken that in just a little bit. And this will be flat here where his toe is touching, and then he's got the little knuckle up, and it makes a little dark spot, and it's back about right about here from the top, so that's about where we'll put it. And I'll just put a little dark spot right there. And then his next one is just a little bit lower, about the same angle as the first one we done. We'll move up and then go back down like that, and then he's got a little claw right there, and this is a little bit rounded right there. And then his third claw that we can see is almost sticking out. And it goes quite a ways down his second knuckle. So we'll go straight, a little bit of an angle, and then curve down. And it goes up just a little bit like he's drinking tea. He's got a little pinky up, but it'd be his index finger. And and it just has to be a suggestion of where his knuckle is. And then we'll go up. And then, let's see, his chin from the end of his knuckle up is almost where his chin curves. So we'll carry his leg up a little ways, and then we'll make a light line because there's his hair, and we try to follow these angles up to that little point, almost to right about there, it looks like. That's a little bit too steep. We'll back it down. We got an eraser so we can erase those little lines. And then goes up a little bit more. And then we'll come back around. And it's got a little bit of a curve right there. And curve on his chin. All the way up to his nose. Okay. And then his nose comes almost to a point. Okay, let's see if we got our dimensions right. If this line and this line matches up, in my head, that's I try to keep it in my head, and we'll bring him on up. Let's say a little steeper angle. Then he's got where his eyeball. Let's see where his eyeball is. Right about where his chin meets his nose is the bottom of his eyeball. So right about here is where we're going. That makes a curve. Little bump. Well, since we're right there close to his eyeball, let's go ahead and do his eyeball. And just a curve. And then down. And it's like it's not a round eye. Well, you can do it like that. You can make his eyeball round, if that helps you. But it's not completely round. Right here is where the bottom of his eye goes. So it comes to a point, and this one comes to a point. And this goes to that point. And then this line right here, you want to start your other line right here, because it kind of goes under. I'm making this a lot darker than I usually do, but that's okay. Then we'll fix his little hump there where his eyeball is. Okay. Yeah, I'm just worried with the outline right now. I'm not worried with the inside lines on top of his head, then his ear. And it goes quite a ways back. So from there to there. Let's see, that a little bit. Wrong. Let's make it small on me. But, yeah, let's go like that. And then his ear, top of his ear comes about here, so it'll be right here. So I'm saying top where this line and the ear meets, not right here where the ear starts. Where the ear and the top of the head meets is right about from here all the way up, right about there. We'll just make our line. Now that's a little off, a little bit too tall, too straight. It needs to be angled more this way. Now I know that wasn't much of an angle or much of a change, but it was for me. Okay, the top, his ear is not very long, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then it starts to turn, and we go to a point, almost a point, a real dull point, and then we come back down, and then from here we can go take this curve and just swing him on around that way down here, and then this middle we do inside of the ear. That's just the edge of his ear. And let's see, and this curve will go back down this way. Well, and this is a little bit more. I don't like that dark. We can just take the corner of our eraser and erase that. We still got a faint line there, so we'll just bring him on up. And now I'm looking at it, the ear's a little bit too tall, too big. So I'll erase his ear, at least the top part. We'll bring it down a little bit. Not much, just enough. And I'm gonna go ahead and do his other ear. His other ear is, let's see, let's bring his forehead on around. So imaginary line, you don't make a line, you just bring your pencil up, follow that line straight up, and then it goes to about right here, and then the back of his head. About like that. That top line was a mistake. And then we'll do his ear like that. And we'll bring it on around. Okay, so this needs to come out more. Well, I need to bring that down. I brought him up too tall. This ear and this ear is a little lower than that ear. Say about right there. So right there needs to be the top of our ear. And then bring him on down. Might be a little fat. Yeah, it is a little fat. But which way? I'm saying this way. bring it back, that line back a little bit more. Now this line will go like that. And still a little bit. We can fix that later if we need to. So then we got to figure out, we'll look at the bottom of his chin right here, and the distance between, it's all distance to me, the distance between the back of his head and the chin, that helps me make it look a little better. And then it just curves up. On this wood, whenever you do it on wood, them grains will catch your pencil leg, the point of your pencil leg and lead, and it wants to follow the grain. So a light touch. And then, well, that's a little bit too much, so we'll go back a little bit this way. And then, let's see, that is almost the same height as that, so do it that way. And then this just comes on around. But before we go on around this way, let's go ahead and come down here and get his belly and his elbow, and the hair kind of goes at an angle that way, like that, and then this goes down. I'm not only looking at the squirrel himself, I'm looking at the shape in here too. Okay, so that means his back toe is going to be coming off of here, so that first knuckle right here, and then down a little like that. And then just the distance between his knuckles and the width of his knuckle or his finger, like that. And then his next finger, got a knuckle right there. This line goes right there. It comes down past the first toe we done, and then we'll go back up, keeping the same distance in between these two lines here. And then here, this toe comes down just a little bit more, and then he's got it's a fatter toe. And then it comes up. It's wide down here, and then it gets narrower as it gets to the knuckle, like that. Now these might be too long once I get to looking at them, but we can always come back and do those. And then there's outer paw, or outer edge of his toe. It might be a little bit thick, but we can always fix that later. Now he's got some shade under here, so it really don't matter to me. We'll just color that shade in a little bit. And let's see, then his hair, right here. I'm just looking at this line right here. It just makes a lazy S, I guess. I just look at the shapes. I don't look at the whole picture until I'm done. Okay, so now we can take this and it goes up almost a straight line this way. No, I don't want to download the image. Go away. No, get it back up here. Alright. Now we need to go, makes a straight line, almost a straight line. All these little hairs we can do later. We just want to get the outline of him, and then it goes this way, and then it starts to curve on his back. Okay, now his tail, from the top of his toe back here, goes straight up over a little bit, and that's where the tail touches his back, and we'll just make that curve. And we just keep in mind keeping this distance looking the same. And on down. And like that. Okay. Now that just gives us a basic outline. And then it's just all, well, let's do his little toe underneath. He's got a foot underneath. Let's do it this way. We'll go to the back of the toe first. It's almost a straight line because he's sitting on the wood, and then it comes down at an angle, and then you go over, do about the same thing, but it comes up over, above that first toe we done, and then this little toe here just goes up. And it don't have to be perfect. Like I said, if you want perfect, you get a Xerox copy machine. Okay, and that gives us an idea of where everything's going. And then from there, it's just a matter of shading things in like you want, and finding out if you've gotten everything where you like it. I don't like his eyeball now. Everything else looks pretty good. This ear needs to be back a little bit like this. We'll take that, take away what we don't want. And his eyeball, we got his eyeball kind of doesn't look right to me, so I'm going to erase his eyeball. That was just an idea where it was. And let's see. Straight there, and that hump is right there. And his eyeball. Curved line. And goes back down. Now, got him too close to the outside line. I'm just looking at the distance between here and here, and I'm sorry you're shaking. I moved the desk. Right. Yeah, that looks getting a little better. About like that. And then we'll curve him around. Like that. Okay. And let's go with this nose here. I'm looking at that little line right there. Right there. And we're just going to shade that in. Got a little bit more shade here than I want, so we're going to go ahead and just take our eraser. Do that. And we'll add what shade we really want. Do like that. Okay, and let's see. Cheek comes down. And here to here. Be here to here. So make us a line there. Okay. And let's see, he's got like an eyebrow or eyelid right up there. You probably can't see this part. And it's darker than what I want. We'll lighten it up on the wood. Paper, this would be a lot easier.